So Michael Popok, Legal AF. Ivanka Trump, who lives in Miami, now goes by the name of Kushner, has been missing from social media, ghosting the public, not making any comments at all, even as her father got indicted for the second time in 2 months. I mean, when your dad's arrested twice in 2 months on a total number of counts approaching 71 total counts against him in federal and state court, you think that the daughter would maybe want to come out and give him a public hug. But that hasn't happened because Ivanka has her own problems. And that's why even today, when she resurfaced and came up for air, and we thought, oh, here she goes. She's going to say something about, supporting her dad, loving her dad, believing in her dad. No. A swing and a miss. The only thing that she commented on was a tweet about how wonderful her husband is. Her husband, Jared Kushner, who has his own problems, having taken over $2 billion in a deal with the Saudi Arabian government soon after leaving office, claiming that the two things weren't related. Good luck with that. I'm sure the Department of Justice has a few questions for you, and a man named Mr. Smith will be at your front door any day now. Trying to avoid all of that and keep their heads from being cut off in a buzzsaw, Ivanka has retreated to her home in Miami and Indian Creek, where she's living in one house and building another. And she hasn't been heard from. Now, look, she's got her own tremendous legal problems. She is a named defendant in every civil case as of right now that's pending out there. She's a named defendant in the Letitia James's New York Attorney General suit for disgorgement, seeking over $250 million against Donald Trump, Don Jr., Eric, Ivanka, Alan Weisselberg, and others, along with the Trump Organization. That is at present going to trial in October, although even the New York Attorney General thinks that the recent indictment by Jack Smith will throw over that game board and make that get rescheduled for another time. But she's not out of the crosshairs. Now, what Ivanka Trump, and we've reported this on the MeidasTouch network in the past, she has in the last 60 days or so, 90 days or so, tried ever so slightly to get a little bit of daylight between her and her father and separate herself, at least in the eyes of the New York Attorney General and the Judge Engoron. She's gotten rid of the lawyer that she shared with her brothers. She's retained her own lawyers. She was able to convince Letitia James, the NYAG, to not put her under a financial monitor and just have that apply to her brothers and her father and the company while they await trial on fraud, which is what that is. She's got another fraud case that's also going to trial relatively soon, sometime in February, also in New York, in the Southern District of New York, which is the federal court for Manhattan, in a class action suit that's been brought against her, her brothers, and her father for fraud related to a multi-level marketing pyramid scheme scam that she and her brothers and fathers lined their pockets with the money from, as average people were fleeced. Average people, paid hundreds and thousands of dollars to get these BS program materials, attend programs that Donald Trump himself got on the stage for, and some of them made like $38 in total. And so that's a fraud if it's made out, at least a civil one, and she's a defendant, Ivanka Trump, in that. And that's going to trial. The only thing she's been able to avoid so far, frankly, is any of the criminal prosecutions. She's not part of the Mar-a-Lago because she wasn't at Mar-a-Lago. She's not part of the 34-count criminal indictment in New York for the hush money cover-up affair of Stormy Daniels because she didn't have a role in, I guess, in covering up those business records and those payments to Michael Cohen. So you have that. Is she part of the investigation by Jack Smith? Probably. Involving Jan 6th. She was an advisor to the president. She was there his entire administration through November in the election. She did leave at a certain point, and apparently, like Jared Kushner conveniently on January 6th was in Saudi Arabia cutting his deal and didn't want to be anywhere around, and they quickly moved out. But she testified before the Jan 6 committee about her conversations with her father and things that she heard from Bill Barr and others. And so at the very least, she's a witness. There's no daddy-daughter privilege. So she could certainly be a witness against her father in a prosecution by Jack Smith. So I guess it's not that surprising, although she's really taking this, I want to put distance between me and Donald Trump thing seriously. I mean, she's tweeting again, but not blowing kisses towards her dad. And so we'll have to keep an eye on where in the universe Ivanka Trump is in terms of all of these prosecutions and civil cases as we go forward. I mean, we have a checkerboard of trials coming up for Donald Trump over the next 6 months. I mean, there could be as many as 4, with the caveat that Jack Smith and his indictment will likely set back the civil cases at least maybe 6 months to a year. And, and then so what? So they'll be tried when he's a loser for president for a second time. The guy's already, twice indicted, but only once elected. So we shouldn't worry about that. And there's not going to, just manage expectations, maybe 1 or 2 of these cases go to trial prior to he gets the nomination and runs for office for president. But we can't expect all of these cases. And right now there's 4, soon to be upwards of 7 or 8 between Fonnie Willis and Jack Smith continued, and more from Alvin Bragg in New York. We can't expect them all to be tried in this short amount of time. But we'll just continue to keep an eye on it. The wheels of justice continue to run and roll. We'll watch it on the MeidasTouch network. I'll continue to do these hot takes at the intersection of law and politics about every day. You can watch me on Legal AF, also on the MeidasTouch network. You can get it on wherever your podcast platforms, whatever you like to use. We're on all of them. And you can follow me, Michael Popok, on all things social media at MS Popok. This is Michael Popok, Legal AF reporting.
Hey, Meidas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram at MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.